All right, how's it going, guys? I've been wanting to do an update on this transmission cover crankcase vent mod that I did a few videos back. I think it's probably about two months ago I did this. My first test, after just putting a couple holes in it, I was getting oil coming out the vent tube and it was dripping down onto the back of the motor. So I said, well, the only thing that's different in mine than theirs is this compartment, there isn't really a gasket. It's just a seal that goes around the edge. So what I thought is maybe the remaining pieces of gasket right here were catching the oil. The oil was just kind of dripping on it rather than dripping down into the hole to get down. It just basically wasn't wide open enough to fall down. So I added a few more holes and basically like cut that whole section out and tried it again, same result. After that, what I ended up doing is I took a metal tube. I actually got forgot what it's called, but it's like a metal spike that goes in concrete. And as you hammer it down, it expands on the bottom. I took the little pin out of the center section, and it has a screw, a threaded end on one end. So in the brass fitting that I put in right up in here in my previous video, on the bottom side of it, I tapped threads into the bottom, and I screwed this tube basically into it along with some Loctite and everything. I also made sure the tube couldn't, if it came disconnected, it can't fall down into the little oil passages and get inside the motor. It would just be stuck in there. But I screwed it in, tightened it up with some red Loctite so it won't come loose. And basically the idea behind that was now the oil that comes in that tube goes all the way down to the bottom. So for it to be able to get out of that, it has to climb all the way up over here into this compartment and out that vent tube. So I figured that might have been the problem, is because the oil was dropping right on the top of this gasket way up high. Some of it was making its way over and getting out. Now I have this tube that goes all the way down inside the compartment, down to the bottom of this opening, way down low. It's probably about as long as my finger, about a ½ inch from the bottom, basically right down where the oil would, the passengers to go right back into the bottom of the crankcase. Did all that. I said, for sure now, there's no way that oil is going to make it all the way up, you know, and out the vent tube. Exact same thing. Literally made no difference. So I came to the conclusion, I'm not sure what it was doing. There must be, I don't know if it was excess blow-by. I only have 3,000 miles on this bike. Shouldn't be excessive blow-by, but maybe that is the case. I didn't know what was going on. So at that point, I determined, well, I certainly don't want oil dripping out of that tube. Out of that vent. So I was going to go back to stock. So I purchased this gasket because I was going to put it back in. And what that would do now is recreate the seal in between the compartments. And now I would no longer be venting into this. You know, I would go back into the air cleaner or whatever. I'm not sure what I was going to do, if I was going to go with another option or what. So that's where it stood for a little while. And I was going to do an update on that, but I hadn't had a resolution yet on what I was going to do. So I waited, had the gasket on hand. In the meanwhile, I was planning to do a stage 2 upgrade and put a new cam, and I wanted to upgrade the oil pump because the factory oil pumps in the 2017s and I believe 2018s are the first model of, and they had a lot of issues with sumping and whatnot, I guess. So I knew I was going to upgrade my oil pump for longevity. I knew I was going to do a stage 2. I figured, let's do this at the same time. Well, I ended up replacing the oil pump to the latest model. I actually have the part number for anybody interested in doing it. You can buy it online. I think it was about 150 bucks. I have the old oil pump in this box. This is the box that the new one came in. But that's it right there. Your part number, 624-00247. 8-lobe scavenge oil. Now that is a new style oil pump that you can retrofit into the 2017, 2018. I guess it's the same pump that they're putting in the 2021 and 22 models, I believe. And they don't have oil sump issues. I believe the big change in those is they put a big seal on the back side of it that goes up against the crank bearing. And I think that is probably what solved the problem. It seems to be up in the air, but I hear there's pretty much no complaints once you install that oil pump. So I wanted to do that anyways. I put that pump in. I did my stage 2 setup. I put my cam in. I ended up going with the just the Screaming Eagle power cam, not the torque cam. And everything's filthy. It needs a good wash. It's been sitting in the garage. So I've now got the Screaming Eagle air filter. I did the 2-piece push rods. I did the S&S aluminum tappet lockers, or the little brackets or whatever, to replace the plastic ones that are in there. So I got S&S push rods, S&S tappet deals there, and did that. And then I replaced the oil pump and put the cam in. And what else did I do when I was in there? I had to buy the shim kit and the replacement bolt and everything, because you got to reshim your after you put your cam in. You want to make sure your timing gears line up and everything. I think that was it. I thought I did some other upgrade in there that was something to do. But before I replaced this gasket back to solve my problem, I did that. And I've got the Power Commander, or whatever it is, 3 there. I think it's Power Commander. Something tuner. I can't remember. Whatever. Vance & Hines Fuel Pack 3. That's what it is. So I got that in there. So after the stage 2 kit, replacing the oil pump, I kind of forgot about this because I was, focusing on tuning, and, I was doing the auto tune sessions and all this, and riding. And I come to realize it's not leaking. At the same time, by the way, I also changed all my fluids and everything. I did the break-in period and all that. It's not that it's out of oil and that's why it's not coming out anymore. It's up to where it should be. It's got fresh oils in it and everything. It stopped leaking. When I change, I'm sure it's probably not the cam or the push rods I put in there. I'm assuming it's the oil pump, and I'm going to assume that it's most likely that seal. I don't know what it does. Maybe it changes the back pressure, reduces the back pressure, or whatever, that slows down the blow-by in the system. But there has not been one drop of oil coming out of this vent tube, okay, since I replaced that oil pump. So I still have the gasket that I opened up in there. I've got the little tube that I put in there, which probably isn't even necessary. But, it's a little better, I guess, that I put in. And I still have the new gasket here that I was going to replace, and I don't need to. I've now put 400 or 500 miles on it and have never seen, and I've ridden hard, I'm not just babying it. I've never seen even one drop of oil come out of there since I replaced the oil pump. So in conclusion, I'm going to say that if you have the older model oil pump, this mod on that transmission cover, you may experience oil coming out of it. It may not be suitable for you. I don't know what it does and how it changed the pressures inside the motor that created it, but I can tell you that after that oil pump and the new updated oil pump, it is no longer a problem, and I am now good to go. I don't have oil feeding into the intake in my motor. The oil that does come out, which probably isn't much at all now, it just drains right back into the crankcase. It is still vented. The only questionable thing is whether it has vacuum, because they say a negative pressure vacuum is supposedly good for seating the rings. It seems to be a theory. I don't know. I know a lot of people are running it this way. I've seen a lot of testing online with people actually measuring crankcase pressures in all different scenarios, and the negative pressure that they claim that should be built up in there by having a valve to close it off to allow it to build a vacuum, basically, was like almost nothing at any point, and most of the time it never even had it, even in a sealed off system. So I honestly don't think it's a big deal. I'm going to run it this way, keep an eye on things, look at my plugs, look at oil consumption, look at all that stuff. But the way it is now, I've got not a drop of anything leaking. It's running great, smooth, strong. And I'll just keep this on hand in case I end up having a problem, but we're good to go now. I've got no oils dripping anywhere, and that's where I'm at. Let me give you another view of the mod that we did. This is the tube coming in right here. It drops down into that compartment. I'll probably put a link down in this video to Blockhead's video on this. He's actually got 2 of them. He's got a revised one where the first video mysteriously didn't have part of the whole thing, so make sure you watch both if you end up doing this mod. But this is solving your problem of oil into your motor and dripping and, you know, your air cleaner and all that stuff for, you know, almost no money, you know, pennies basically. So I'm happy. Things are good. It's running great. Like I said, I think I got 400 miles on it since I did the stage 2. The bike's filthy. It needs a really good cleaning. But other than that, I did add a, I think it was, what is this? Ciro, yeah. Ciro. I added this little cup holder deal here that typically is put on handlebars. I was very skeptical about this because it was plastic, but it's super really good quality. The rubber is like this really soft, thick, durable feeling. It's got an aluminum clamp and metal. You know, it's a really, really nice unit. I was actually pretty happy with that, but I didn't like it up here in my view of everything up here riding. I think down there is great. You can kind of reach down if you just got a nice coffee or something you're going to sip on when you're riding. You can drop it right down there. It's out of the way and don't have to worry about it. And I also got the Ciro cell phone holder here. This is really nice, very durable. This is the OEM style Harley Davidson cell phone mount. It does fit. The ball end, this ball and this mount is a Harley Davidson part, and then this from here up is the Ciro part. So I got a nice cell phone holder there. I've got my my Garmin. I forgot which side yet. There, I got this mounted up right here with this whole setup. I'm pretty sure I got a video showing that as well if you're interested. It does block off that side of your dash panel, but there's nothing behind there. This door doesn't open. So this is a nice Garmin GPS and works really well. And I like it in this position because it's almost like it's meant to be that way, because the word Garmin is written in that direction and it takes up less space. I can still see the fuel gauge. I could lower this a little bit more if I wanted, but I can see the fuel gauge just fine. The radio is fine. I can still get to this compartment here if I need to with your cords and whatnot. And everything over here is wide open. I don't have anything on this side to mess with. So yeah, that's the updates. I just put the docking system here, quick release docking system. I just mounted that up. That's why I'm here in the garage today. I picked that up. I do plan on putting a detachable tour pack on here. I think I'm going to go with an Advan Black. I think they say 4 to 6 weeks because they got to paint it to match and everything. So I'm pretty good at painting, and I would tackle painting it and just maybe even buy a used one and do the body work on, you know, sand it down and paint it to match. But I have no experience with doing this denim or this satin looking paint. It may be really easy. It may be just as simple as any other paint. It may be easier to paint. I don't know. But I'm not willing to risk it on this for the money in the paint and everything. I'd rather just buy the part that's color matched. So like I said, I think I'm going to go with the medium. I might go with the, I think it's just the chopped, and then they have like the slim or the razor tour pack. I think I'm going to go with the medium size one. I do want some space, but I don't want the big old full size like ultra setup either. So especially where I have a rider's backrest, it looks goofy as hell on there, but it's very comfortable, and it's the only way I can ride any long distances, actually any time over 15 minutes before my back hurts. So that's part of the reason I do want to put a tour pack on, because that'll kind of hide that a little bit from behind and just make it look more uniform rather than just that thing sticking up. But honestly, when you're on the bike, it just kind of blends into your back anyways, and you don't even notice it. So, but I definitely don't like the look of a rider backrest, but I'm going to take comfort over style any day. So I'm almost coming up on 50 years old. Yeah, I'd rather be comfortable. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's the update on the bike. And I know a lot of people watching this channel aren't interested in motorcycles. I have all kinds of different stuff on my channel. If you don't like it, you don't want to watch it, no problem. The next video might be something else you like. So, but I did have a couple of people, at least 2 people looking for an update on that. And I know there's people interested in doing that mod, and they want to do their research and make sure that it's proven before they do it. Well, here's one testament to it, and it did work out. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll finish this video here, and see you in the next one. Have a good one.